pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to go away from the agenda. I want to make a motion. I move to repeal Donora Borough Ordinance number 1181 dated 14th of December 79. This ordinance is contrary to federal law, specifically the Age Discrimination in Employment Act of 1967.
Second.
Hold that till after we have roll call, please. Read that again. Roll call, Terry.
Mrs. Ackerman?
Here.
Mrs. Bryce?
Here.
Mr. Greco?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mr. Parquette?
Here.
Mr. Pavelko?
Here.
Everybody, go ahead, Mr. Pavelko.
Okay, I move to repeal Donora Borough Ordinance number 1181 dated 14th of December 1979. This ordinance is contrary to federal law, specifically the Age Discrimination in Employment Act of 1967.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor by Mr. Pavelko, second by Mrs. Bryce. Any questions on the motion?
Second by Mrs. Ackerman.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was Mrs. Bryce. Is there any questions on the motion? Any comments on the motion?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What is the ordinance?
Can you give us all a copy of that, please?
After the vote.
How can we vote on something we don't know what it is?
Yeah, what ordinance is it? What does the ordinance
So
read?
it's
You have it.
1181
You have it.
of December
Because we got it
14th,
from you.
1979.
We received it from you, so you've already had it.
1181 from
Yes,
us.
we did.
1179.
No, 1181. Please call the,
Until I know what I'm voting on, relax.
then don't vote.
Why?
Solicitor, what would be the effect of this, from what I understood?
You're right, it's 1181 of
1181.
1979. That's the motion, ordinance signed by Mayor Aiden Mason, dated 7th of 1979, it was ordinance 1181. That's the motion that they want to repeal.
That's the mandatory age of 65.
Correct.
And what is the reason you want to repeal?
It's against federal law, the Age Discrimination in Employment Act of 1967.
Can you show us that law, please? Is this true, Mr. Solicitor?
I'm not certain what manner in which he's describing it as being non-compliant with the statute.
Yeah, there's a copy.
Okay, we've got a vote on the floor, let's take a vote.
Once the solicitor rules on it, we will.
Councilman, in what manner are you saying this is contrary to the federal statute?
The federal statute states that it shall be unlawful for an employer to fail to refuse to hire or to discharge any individual or otherwise discriminate against any individual with respect to his compensation, terms, conditions, or privileges of employment because of such individual's age, to limit, segregate, or classify his employees in any way which would deprive or tend to deprive any individual of employment opportunities or otherwise adversely affect his status as an employee because of such individual's age.
So it's your contention then that any ordinance that would mandate, any ordinance of neutral application that would mandate retirement of fixed age would be per se illegal based on the statute?
I'm sorry, Anna?
Is it, just so I'm clear, is it, so I can answer any questions that may come up, is it your position that any ordinance of neutral application that fixes a mandated retirement age would be in violation of the statute?
It says it right there, read it.
I have read it. I'm familiar with the statute. I was asking if that's your
Okay, well,
position.
there's a motion on the floor,
To
let's take a
repeal.
vote.
An ordinance.
Does that pertain to civil service?
This is, it's a complicated area of the law, but, you know, there's been a litany of federal cases dealing with.
Borough council has the right to repeal any ordinance that's on the books, as long as there's a vote taken.
I agree with that.
Okay, well, let's take a vote.
Well, let's vote.
We're still under questions and comments, please.
I think what he's saying is, does local or state law supersede federal law?
It defines federal law. It defines the application. That's what I'm trying to understand. I think if he had said that there was a motion to repeal the ordinance, that's fine, but to say to repeal predicated upon a federal statute being in conflict, that's where I think there's a little bit of a hiccup.
Okay, so in other words, there's no problem to repeal this ordinance. We could just repeal this
Council
ordinance.
can always
Okay.
modify its ordinance.
Okay.
Mr. Solicitor, what would be the effect of repealing this ordinance? In
Well,
light of the current situation?
Okay.
not certain.
If we do repeal it, does it affect the person that's currently affected by this ordinance?
If we're looking at this through the lens that it only applies to one person, I'm not sure you want to make that part of the public record. The ordinances should have general application.
Well, it would be general because anybody that follows that would fall under that general application of this ordinance. So you just do away
We
with it.
just want to do away with it.
But would it fall to someone after the repeal rather than someone that's already in that window for over a year?
But we don't want that ordinance on the book anymore. We want to vote it out. We
Are
want
we
to
then
do
going
it.
to be selective of what ordinance we
We selected that one.
Well,
That's the one we selected.
then what we should do then is go through the drawer full of ordinances
Well,
and
you can if
say,
you like.
let's
That's the
go
one we
through
want
one
to
at a
fill.
time and throw them all out.
Understood. But you can throw anything you want later. If you want to throw one out later, throw it. But right
Well,
now.
you know, we're not going to get into it. We
Okay,
have a
let's
motion.
vote.
We have a motion on the floor. We have a second motion. There's no need, we could
Yeah, okay. Then argue.
Okay.
Vote.
talk all day about this, but we do have a motion on the floor.
Call the roll call.
I got one other question. Should something occur between now and then, can the borough be held liable for having a
That's a really broad question. I mean, there's, for $300, anyone can sue anyone for anything. Always advise
Can
you.
he continue to make arrests?
Now, I want to stipulate, I said repeal, not rescind.
I understand that, but we're still in that 10-month period that he's already overlapped, the 65 age. My concern is the
I'm
liability.
not
We haven't
talking about
mentioned
this having
anybody at all.
anything to
We're
do
not
with
mentioning
anybody.
anybody. We're just,
I'm
we
making
haven't
this
mentioned the
motion
name, we haven't mentioned
I
anything. Filling
understand.
that
My
out.
question is, can he still continue to make arrests while we're waiting for this repeal? That's my question.
No. There's nothing in that ordinance
We're not
that says.
talking about any individual.
Listen.
We
Quit
are most certainly talking
stonewalling
about
and
it.
make
Yeah,
a,
no,
and take
There
a
has
vote.
been no name mentioned. We're talking about repealing that ordinance.
Which
I
council
understand,
has
but
the right
We do have
to
a
do.
person involved in this. So can that person continue to make arrests while we're making
If we
this
repeal it, it won't make any difference. It won't, if we repeal it, it doesn't exist.
Mr. Solicitor, I asked you the
It
question.
doesn't exist.
I'm not sure it's that straightforward. Council can certainly
Repeal it.
repeal any ordinance it chooses,
Listen.
but that doesn't mean that would not be without any additional consequence.
So we are taking the,
Any other
we are
comments?
taking it to repeal.
Yeah, I just wanted to know my own personal knowledge. Is council doing this as a whole for one particular person?
Let's take a vote,
Take
we'll
a vote
find
now.
out.
I know.
I mean, simple as that.
Roll call.
Mrs. Ackerman,
Yes.
Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Mr. McDowell,
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko,
Yes.
Mr. Parquet,
No.
Mrs. Bryce,
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce does not have a vote. in
Yes,
this.
I do. It's the whole, it's the whole, not one individual.
Right.
It's the whole. The ordinance is the whole.
Mr.
Right.
Solicitor.
The ordinance, see, you told me that 2 days after you came here,
Mr. Solicitor.
that if it didn't involve one
There's
individual,
been nobody named.
This is
the
constrained
ordinance
general
involves the whole.
One person at a time talk, whether she votes or not, it
She
doesn't
has
make
the
a
right,
difference.
he's telling me she has the right.
Doesn't make a difference,
It doesn't make a difference whether you vote or not.
If it's general application.
Motion passed.
well, Mr. Greco,
I'm going to vote no for one simple reason. I've been told, although he's showing me something different today, I've been told that we can be held liable for anything that occurs from this point on. And the repeal probably won't be done and satisfied until probably sometime in September. That being the case, I just think that we were elected to enforce the ordinances of Donora that were set forth way back in 1979 by Mayor Mason. And I don't think we should capriciously or arbitrarily decide what ordinances we're going to enforce and what we're not. The people voted us to enforce all the ordinances, not just selected few. So with that, I vote no, and the motion, I believe, still passes.
it's passed.
Okay, with that, I make a motion to reorganize council.
Second.
Motion on the floor to reorganize council. There's a second. Any questions or motions? Any comments? Any questions or comments? Hearing none, take a roll call.
Mrs. Ackerman,
Yes.
Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Mr. McDowell,
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko,
Yes.
Mr. Parquet,
No.
Mrs. Bryce,
Yes.
Mr. Greco,
Whatever, yes, I'll go on with
motion passed.
I make a motion to nominate Mike McDowell for president of council.
Second.
it. Motion on the floor by Mr. Pavelko, second by Mrs. Bryce, was it?
No, Mrs.
Mrs.
Ackerman.
Ackerman again. Motion on the floor. Any questions or comments? Take a roll.
Mrs. Ackerman,
Yes.
Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Mr. McDowell,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko,
Yes.
Mr. Parquet,
No.
Mrs. Bryce,
Yes.
Mr. Greco,
Yes.
motion passed.
I also make a motion to advertise for letters of intent for a solicitor.
Motion on the floor to advertise for a new solicitor. Is there any second to that? Is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Second by Mrs. Bryce. Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Mrs. Ackerman,
No.
Mr. Lawson,
Did you say?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
say?
Mr.
Yes.
McDowell,
yes. That's what you said. Is that what you wanted?
I meant, no, I'm sorry.
Mr. McDowell,
No.
Mr. Pavelko,
Yes.
Mr. Parquet,
No.
Mrs. Bryce,
Yes.
Mr. Greco,
No.
motion fell.
Mr.
Okay, with that, I'm done.
We can pick a new vice president.
I believe Mr. McDowell is currently president, correct?
Okay.
Until this motion.
Then he was nominated for vice president.
Make a motion to appoint Mr. Greco as vice president.
No, I make the motion. Okay, good.
I
I wasn't there.
decline that motion, please.
You want to nominate Jamie?
Yeah. Motion to nominate Mrs. Ackerman.
You're the president now.
I make a motion to nominate Jamie for vice president. This is Ackerman.
That's fine. He's the one that's conducting the meetings, not me.
Yeah.
Second.
Motion has been made to nominate Mrs. Ackerman for president. Roll call.
Mrs. Ackerman,
Yes.
Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Mr. McDowell,
Yes.
Mr. Pavoco,
Yes.
Mr. Parquette,
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce,
Yes.
Mr. Greco.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay. Do you have Mrs. Salak?
I'm gonna give Mr. Salek a call.
Okay,
Are we
we'll do
good?
that. Yeah.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Hi, Tom. This is Terry from the borough. I have you on speaker.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
What kind of questions you got for me?
They were talking about that their tank that's supposed to
Capping
be.
that tower. And
Anybody have-
how much more money will be to put a cap on it?
Terry, I can't hear it.
Mrs. Bryce asked how much money it would be for the lid.
Approximately $250,000.
And what would that mean to a sewage bill?
Will that affect the sewage bill? How much would that impact the sewage bill?
I don't know, I think $1 million loan is $1 for everybody. I think that's just
It's a dollar, so it would be less than $1. Okay, I say we go
And
for the
don't
lid.
quote me on that, please.
So don't quote them all.
Okay,
Do you recommend a cap?
Do you recommend the lid? Mrs. Ackerman is asking.
Well, this is what I could tell you about the lid, okay? We do not have a lid on ours, in our tank, next to the facility, okay? But we have a grit washing machine, okay? And if we get a smell, that's where I'm being told you would get it from, okay? We are not putting grit washing equipment on this facility, okay? So if I had a choice of recommending grit washing equipment or lid, I would recommend the lid because the grit washing material is $1 million. So it was, there's $750,000 swing one way or the other. I cannot guarantee that there would not be a smell without a lid. We do not currently have a smell in our facility. After it's used, water goes into the tank during a rain event, after the flow recedes, it automatically, by computer or flow metering, pumps into our treatment facility. And after it's pumped into our treatment facility, then we hose it out if we need to.
So in other words, the other one doesn't have a smell, so this one wouldn't either for the same length of time? Are we talking approximately the same length of time?
I didn't hear Mrs. Ackerman.
She said, would this one have a smell over time?
No, it should be the same thing. It's only your rainwater that goes in there that's mixed, and it's not strictly just rainwater. And we all have a combined system there. It's a percentage of sewage and the rest rainwater. After we meet 350% of the dry weather flow, then it goes over the dam walls.
Down on the river.
Walnut, and that's the flow
Right next to the
coming into
sewage
this
plant.
Oh, way down there,
Instead
okay.
of
Down the
into the
river.
river.
Okay.
Okay.
So we retrieve a higher percentage of our flows.
Does Vanessa have a lid on?
Vanessa doesn't have one.
No.
Do they have a smell problem in
Vanessa does not have any
Yeah, they don't have a tank. The tank's down here at the sewage authority down here. And he said,
What do you recommend, Tom?
do you recommend it? Mrs. Price is asking.
Let me say it this way. For us to make sure that there's not a smell, is to put a lid
So are we going with the lid or no lid?
I'm under the impression they already made the decision, they are going with it. It's a moot point for us.
If we don't go with the lid now, could we go with the lid at a later date?
Mr. McDowell asked if they don't decide on the lid now, can they choose to get one later at a later date?
It's all in the cost, so he'd have to have another.
It would have to go before the tank's constructed. One with a concrete tank, and that would be part of the engineering for the facility.
It's all in the same package. Okay, we can't go back later and.
Plans
have
are
it.
being done now, so
Because
we
they're
have to
gonna
decide the lid
reinforce
or
the
no lid.
concrete to hold the lid.
Yeah. So are we saying no lid, or do you guys want a lid?
Like,
Says it doesn't make any difference, go with the no lid.
No lid? No lid. Everybody's saying no lid?
I could tell you it's windmill hose it, just like we do the one now. You know,
Are we good with no lid?
Hey, Terry?
Yes,
Terry?
yes.
Let's just discuss it.
Okay.
And then after the meeting, shoot me an email one way or the other.
Will do.
On Monday, I'll pass it along to my engineer.
Okay, I will do that.
Until the council, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your
Okay.
time.
Anybody else have any other questions before he hangs up?
Thank you, Tom.
Have a good day at the wedding, Tom.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Terry,
All right,
good night.
you too. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the minutes from April 9th, 2020. Council had an executive session on April 16, 2020 to address personnel matters. Have a motion to approve this minutes.
I'll second the motion.
No, you have to make, somebody to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept
I'll second it.
the minutes of the April 9th meeting.
Thank you. Okay. Any further?
Okay, roll call.
I have a question on the motion, or a comment rather. See, now that we're talking about the executive session, I do want to bring it to some of you misinformed people that we said that 5 or 7 council executive sessions is all you're permitted to have. It's, you can have 5 a day, as long as you go according to those 7 reasons that's outlined underneath the sunshine law. So there's no restrictions as to 5, 7 a year. You can have 5 or 7 a day. The law says that you have to have those 7 reasons to call an executive session. So you're totally misinformed.
Yeah, but it's for personnel matters, and there was no personnel matter involved there.
Well, I believe what you brought up was we couldn't have more than 7.
That's what we were under the
The
impression.
mistake
That's
was
what we
made
thought.
by the PSAB. It wasn't made by
They
us,
meant
it was
7
made by
reasons,
them.
okay?
They
She was just
apologize.
mixed up. It was 7 reasons you can have it. Now they increased it to 10 reasons.
And there's a catch-all provision, which I would also remind council, that you can always follow. Executive sessions can be held for informative purposes, can be updated on certain events, particularly emergency events. So I'm not sure where the impression
We
was.
conducted business as
Yeah,
executive
we
session.
conducted
We
business
did.
on cameras and.
And
You
laptops.
would ratify it tonight.
I understand, but those decisions were made and ordered with no vote. That's the point we're making.
I thought the point was the number of sessions.
Well, my point is that the reason why we were having problems with having so many executive sessions is that business was conducted at executive sessions, and I didn't really think all of them fell under what the rules should be.
The statement.
I'm just making a point.
The statement was made last.
I understand, Terry, and I understand, that was the impression we were under, that's what we were told, and we were wrong. So we'll agree with that. But I'm saying that there were some executive sessions that I had problems with.
I understand that, Mr.
Okay.
President, but what I want to remind council of, Mr. President, is that council should not feel constrained mechanically not to meet and discuss private matters that the law affords an exception from sunshine. So I think it is important that, council is reminded of that from time to time, for litigation reasons, policy reasons, arbitration reasons, all those reasons defined in the statute, that council feels that it can assemble without violating the law.
Okay, any more questions?
Yeah, I have another question. Every time it seems like council hears something, they take it as gospel. We have a solicitor. Whenever his opinion comes in, I feel you guys should take heed to it. You said multiple times last time that 7 was the magic number. We could have had discussions about everything that came up tonight. But we didn't because it was just said, can't have 7.
Well, I brought it up at the meeting and gave it to the solicitor, he didn't have an answer to that.
Well, actually, he
Didn't
did.
bring anything up.
Yeah,
Actually,
he said we can have 7 whenever I asked, can we have 7? He said he's not aware of anything like that. And I asked Terry to produce what, you said you got it from Terry, whatever.
Well,
And it wasn't
I'll
produced.
agree that I have misinformation, but I still understand there's lawsuits going,
There's
involving
always
us.
lawsuits going for it. We'll follow the Sunshine Act, exactly what it says, and that's why we have a solicitor. That's just what I'm saying. Whenever you hear something, or you think, you have a solicitor right here, and he's the one that's going to be protecting us. He's the one that's going to have to answer for it. So whenever he says yes, no, maybe, you can disagree with him, but
Okay, well, just like today, he didn't give us any answers today. He didn't say yes, he didn't say no. On all the issues we brought up, he didn't answer any of the questions.
Because you, every time I tried to answer, you said there's a motion, there's a motion.
Listen.
Mrs. Bryce, how can one answer a question
Okay. All right.
Okay,
when
let's
there's
move
no
on.
opportunity to
Move on.
answer the question?
Any more questions?
Move on.
Roll call?
Okay, roll
I'm
call.
gonna do a roll call.
Roll call, Secretary.
Okay, Mrs. Ackerman,
Yes.
Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Mr. McDowell,
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko,
Yes.
Mr. Parquet,
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce,
Yes.
Mr. Greco. Motion passed.
Okay, finance report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Payroll report, administration, $7,009.20. Borough building, $1,000. Police, $36,157.62. Fire, $142.62. Code enforcement, $1,350. Sanitation, $1,254. Highway and street, the street department, $20,745.70. Total for the payroll report, $67,659.14. Treasurer's report for the month of April 2020. By the way, that was the treasurer's report for the payroll report for the month of April 2020. Balance in checking accounts as of April 1st, $486,468.70. Total receipts, $69,842.11. Temporary investments as of April 1st, $86,588 even. Total funds available, $642,898.81. Total expenditures, $305,412.26. Temporary investments as of April 30th, $86,646.38. Balance in a checking account as of April 30th, $250,840.17. I'd like to make a motion to accept the treasurer's report as read.
Second.
I have a motion by Mrs. Ackerman, second by Mr. Parquet. Roll call.
Mrs. Ackerman,
Yes.
Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Mr. McDowell,
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko,
Yes.
Mr. Parquet,
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce,
Yes.
Mr. Greco.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Bill report for the month of April 2020. Total amount of bills paid, $227,224.79. I'd like to make a motion to accept the bill report as read.
Second.
A motion by Mrs. Ackerman on the bill report, second by Mr. Parquet. Roll call.
Mrs. Ackerman,
Yes.
Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Mr. McDowell,
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko,
Yes.
Mr. Parquet,
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce,
Yes.
Mr. Greco. Motion passed.
I'd like to make a motion to issue payment of $13,817.59 from the fire loss account to James Pierce for 537 Allen Avenue fire on November the 16th, 2019.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mrs. Ackerman, second by Mr. Pavalko, on a payment of $13,817.59 cents to Mr. James Pierce.
Mrs.
Roll.
Ackerman,
Yes.
Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Mr. McDowell,
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko,
Yes.
Mr. Parquet,
Yes.
Mrs. Rice,
Yes.
Mr. Greco.
Yes.
Motion passed.
I have a motion to approve resolution number 2020-4 to extend the discount period for the 2020 tax year until July 30th, 2020, due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Second.
Mr. Solicitor, would you please read the resolution?
Yes, Mrs. Ackerman, as soon as I locate it, I had it up here and stacked with paper. Resolution number 2020-4, it's a resolution to extend real estate deadlines due to COVID-19. It reads, whereas Governor Tom Wolf declared a disaster emergency on March 6, 2020 in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas many businesses were forced to close, which has led to a staggering loss of jobs. And whereas the economic downturn has created an economic hardship for many taxpayers. Whereas Governor Tom Wolf signed Act 15 on April 20th, 2020, that enables local governments to extend real estate tax deadlines. And now therefore be it resolved by the Borough Council of Donora, County of Washington, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, that the discount period discounting 2020 real estate taxes by 2% shall be extended to July 31st, 2020. And be it further resolved that all penalties for 2020 real estate taxes shall be waived if said taxes are paid in full by December 31st, 2020. Be it further resolved that all unpaid 2020 real estate taxes after December 31, 2020 shall be subject to the normal delinquent penalties and fees pursuant to the real estate tax sale law, the Pennsylvania Borough Code, the municipal tax claim and lien law, and any other state statute or ordinance of the borough. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be transmitted to the real estate tax collector no later than May 20, 2020, resolved this 14th day of May 2020 by the Borough of Donora.
Do we have a motion on the floor?
Second.
Second.
Question on the motion? I have a motion on the floor by Mrs. Ackerman, second by Mr. Parquet. Roll call.
Mrs. Ackerman,
Yes.
Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Mr. McDowell,
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko,
Yes.
Mr. Parquet,
Yes.
Mrs. Rice,
Yes.
Mr. Greco. Motion passed.
Okay, Health, Sanitation, Code Enforcement.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Oh,
I
I'm
have an
sorry.
announcement to make.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
The
I'm sorry.
tax collector Susan Vitalbo's office is closed to the public. You can mail, put your payment in her mailbox, or pay by credit card over the phone. If you need a receipt, please include a self-addressed stamped envelope. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mrs. Ackerman. Mr. Pavelko.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. The sanitation report for the month of April. Monies collected during the month, $31,080.75. Delinquent sanitation fees collected through the magistrate, $92.01. Fine sanitation fees collected through the magistrate, $3,110.25. Occupancy fee report for the month. Occupancy permits fees for the month, 0. Year-to-date, $400. Registration fee report for the month of April. Permit fees for the month, $2,000. Year-to-date total, $15,350. Make a motion to extend the 2020 sanitation face value of $250 until August 31st, 2020, due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Second.
Now, that's what the normal fee is, and it would have went into, what's that?
That penalty would have been.
Yeah, it would have moved into the penalty effect. this is to give people an extra month to make the regular payment.
I had a motion by Mr. Pavalka, second by Mrs. Ackerman. Question on the motion? Roll call?
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mr. Palaco?
Yes.
Mr. Parquette?
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce?
Yes.
Mr. Greco?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I got a question for you, Terry. Are they still not picking cardboard up?
Correct.
Okay, do you think we could get that out to the public?
We've already posted it twice, right?
Yeah, I posted it on Facebook and the phone calls that I've received throughout this whole past 4 or 5 weeks that they put into place. The landfills are not taking it. So it was also in the newspaper, I believe. Yes.
Because I noticed there's a mess around the
I
cardboard.
thought if the cardboard was like
If it's in a garbage
plastic
bag, yes.
Yes,
People
yes.
are putting
Put
it
it in
in
a
Put
garbage.
it
garbage
out
bag, yeah.
Yes.
by itself.
Right.
Well, I
you know,
cleaned
like-
up Cooper Electric the other day, because last week, when they
Gilmore.
collected the garbage, they left,
Yeah.
Gilmore,
Yeah.
they left a pile of cardboard boxes and stuff, and I got my own garbage bag, and I bagged it all up for them, and I stuck it back by their garage door. So,
We're not taking furniture either.
yeah, they're not taking
Okay.
any kind of, yeah, no big
Okay,
stuff.
because I've seen a couple pieces of furniture,
Yes.
people's house, so maybe we need to get that out too at this time.
We
you know.
advise,
Things are
like I
gonna be
said,
selective by what they can and cannot take, or
Right.
what the people can put out. Now, was there a bag limit too?
It's 6.
6 bags
That's
per
right.
household?
At this time, it's 6. They
Okay.
have been taking more here and there, and a lot of people have been emptying their homes out because they're stuck at home. And I had a few phone calls and I addressed it with them as well. There's a
Okay.
newspaper article and through Facebook.
Okay, now, the recycle bins that we have, are they still in operation?
No, we don't recycle anymore. Any
I
homeowner
thought
can
we
take
had
it
a
down.
bin.
We have the bins,
Okay,
essentially,
we-
the dumpsters.
Okay,
Yes.
so you could bring it down there?
The recyclables, yes.
Okay, and Mike, does he still have the place down there at the Borough Garage
Yes.
as far as compost, whatever?
That is correct.
Okay.
For
all right.
grass clippings.
Well, we
veg
need to get
clippings.
this out to the people, let them know that, we're still doing this and what the restrictions are on the garbage and that. However
We
way
had-
we can.
We had multiple calls in the last 2 weeks. I know I've discussed it with Terry at least twice, re-posted. So every time I got a phone call, I was explaining to them exactly what it said, and then directed them to either Terry, she could email them or whatever, exactly from the sanitation company. But also, I know of at least twice, when we talked about it, I said, it's the second garbage pickup, they're saying it again. It's been reposted twice on our site and then boosted again on Facebook. So it has been out there a lot. But a lot of people don't have Facebook.
And we don't get paper.
They don't get paper.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mrs. Pedrossi. Mr. President, that's all I have for this evening.
Okay, recreation, Mrs. Bryce?
There were no rentals at the park.
Okay. Community Affairs, Municipal Building, Mr. Lawson.
Thank you. There's no monies collected for April 20th, 20 for the banquet hall. I'd like to make a motion to approve the installation of the plexiglass shield in the administration office counter with a quote of $852 due to the requirements of the Department of the Health for COVID-19.
Second.
Question on the motion? Roll call?
Mrs. Ackerman?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mr. Pavelko?
Yes.
Mr. Parquette?
Yes.
Mrs. Bryce?
Yes.
Mr. Greco?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Motion to approve the installation of plexiglass shield in the police station with a quote of $798 due to requirements of the Department of Health for COVID-19.
Second.
Question on the motion? Roll call?
Mrs. Ackerman?
No.
Mr. Lawson?
No.
Mr. McDowell?
No.
Mr. Pavelko?
No.
Mr. Parquette?
No.
Mrs. Bryce?
No.
Mr. Greco?
That was for the police station, is that correct?
Correct.
We're not concerned about,
The reason why we're not concerned about that is because those police officers have body contact with people, so that plexiglass is just a waste of money, because if they're gonna stand behind the glass for for an hour, and then go out to the street and wrestle somebody on the ground, it doesn't make any sense to have that expenditure.
Are we stuck
They
any money
need to-
since it's been ordered?
I don't think.
No.
If they need to talk to anybody, they take them into a room.
They take
talk to
problems,
them
you
and
know,
tell them.
they don't come in.
The comments 4 foot high.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
plexiglass,
those in.
it's just an added
And they have
expense, it's
door.
not necessary.
They
I
have that
think what it
electronic
is
door.
you're able to regulate who can come in there.
Right.
As far as the upstairs, it's public accessible.
The police station is public accessible too.
It is too, but you're able, you gotta bring somebody in. You
Yeah,
don't
if
bring
someone
nobody in.
rings that bell and says, I have a problem, I'd like to talk to a police officer. The purpose I always brought up the police was, I want them protected the same as upstairs. So if someone comes in and says, I wanted to talk to an officer, once they ring them in, they can talk to them, and you have that plexiglass between them. If council doesn't see that that is necessary,
Well, it might be a private matter, so if they wanna talk to them, they wanna talk to them in private.
Right.
They're not gonna be behind the plexiglass. I'm not always
But
saying
once you enter
it's
that
always
police-
gonna be private.
I understand. Once you enter the police station, you're private. Because you're buzzed in and out,
Yeah,
correct?
you're private as long as there's nobody in the immediate area around you. Now, going into a room with just me and you in there, that's a private. I wanna talk to you, I don't want anybody else hearing my conversation.
I agree completely, and that's why the police station is meant to be cleared with only police. But if council doesn't see it, no.
Roll call. Okay,
Oh, there you go.
okay, it's already passed, I'm sorry.
I have nothing else, President.
Okay,
Motion passed for that.
highways and streets, Mr. Parquet.
Mr. President, I have nothing on highways and streets, however, I will take the police report.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, total complaints answered for the month of April 2020, 105 complaints answered, 119 total calls, 8 offenses reported, there were 9 total arrests, total ball revenue received, $1,629.94. I have a motion to approve the repair of the fire department siren, quote for repair and batteries is $2,082.80.
Second. Okay, motion fell.
And that's all I have for public safety.
All right. I'd like to speak a little bit. You know, there's been a lot of changes here today. I don't think anybody was really
May I interrupt you, please?
good.
Carl Bailey, who is the Teamster representative for 205, who represents the police department. His niece passed away today. She was 46 years of age. I would like to see the borough send him a sympathy card
Definitely.
in regards to that. And Mark Alterisi and Jerry Jericho approached me when I was at the ride-by parade for Mr. Trapani. We wanted to know if they can use our equipment to tear down some type of dilapidated building in Charleroi, because they're under the impression that that's always been the procedure here. I told them to get a hold of Mike Petrosky, all right? And I had several meetings scheduled for Mike Foreman to come in to see if we can get some money for tearing down some of these blight properties, particularly the one at 7th Street, the cleaners, one at 4th Street, possibly St. Mary's Church. However, we had to cancel the 2 meetings because of the pandemic. I would like to know if we can call him in for next month's work session, or do you want to do a Zoom conference with him, or do we want to just table it all together?
No, we definitely don't want to table. We
I
definitely.
had some information. I talked to Mr. Coleman yesterday on a couple of various matters. Because he's under the jurisdiction of the governor's office through DCED, he's not permitted to attend any public meetings until the region turns green. So Mr. Foreman said he would make himself available for telephone calls or Zoom meetings if we had any borough business to discuss with him, but he's not permitted to travel at this time. I was more of a trip.
I Terry, maybe you could work that out with them, see if we could get maybe at our next work session, have a Zoom meeting or whatever.
Or do a
What's that?
teleconference or something.
Yeah, exactly. This way we could hear him and get these places taken care of.
One more comment. The mayor and I had went over months ago to talk with Ron Mosier, who operates all these cameras. The last meeting we had, we asked him to turn on the cameras that are upstairs so that Terry can monitor the building. I called him up, and his response was he doesn't take orders from council.
Okay.
Council pays the bills, so I don't know who you want to designate the right to give him a call. However, he said he's not gonna get stuck in the middle of it, and if we don't give him a
I'll
call, or
give him a
whoever
call.
has to give him a call, she's not gonna be able to monitor buildings.
I'll
Just
give
let
him
you
a
know that.
call
So
on,
far, it's not been turned on, and I called him 2 weeks ago.
okay, I'll give him a call tomorrow.
That's all.
That's Ron Mosier. Ron?
Yes, I'll get you his information.
Okay, I'll call you tomorrow, Terry. Okay, a lot of things have happened, you know what I mean? It's not that somebody wasn't doing a good job or not doing their job. It's just that I believe we're going in another direction right now. Hopefully, we're still all council members. We want to do what's best for Donora, and that's the utmost. That's why we were elected. So with that being said, let's move on. The past is the past. Let's look for the future. We have a lot of things that we have to do. Our plate is full. Mayor McDonough, you have anything to say?
Yeah, I wanted to bring up to council that starting tomorrow, Pennsylvania and our county moves into the yellow. In accordance with the Pennsylvania guidelines, the Governor Wolf set down through our county, I believe we should move in the same direction. I already had Terry look up what the governor has wanted through his handouts and what have you. Should make that our policy now and move into the yellow with them, starting on, well, really, it starts tomorrow. We can make it Monday, which would bring back our employees with social distancing and all the guidelines already set forth by Pennsylvania. So I suggest we move into that phase. I had Reverend Holmes contact me today, and he had brought up that there was a food distribution that he would like to look into and making Donora Borough and this building up here possibly one of the locations. But he needed to know some square footage, and that's about as far as our conversation got. I said, I don't know the square footage down there or what exactly you need or what you're planning on doing. But I would bring it to council tonight, and if you want to contact our administrator tomorrow, she can go over with some of the logistics and present whatever he wants to council. So I just want to give you guys a heads up that that's what's happening, and ask your opinion on moving into the yellow. Are you all in agreement, since we have everything already put forth for that?
We missed something in the public safety report. There was a motion to repair the fire department siren.
Yeah, we made that motion.
We
We
did
didn't get
that.
a
Okay,
second.
yeah,
No, we didn't
okay.
get a second.
Yes,
Okay, I'm sorry.
You gonna make it again, I'll make it again.
No.
Anyways, are you guys all right moving into yellow like the state said?
We have, yeah.
Okay, so Terry, if you could get out all the publications to the department heads.
And I enclosed the memo that I provided to everybody in your packet. So
Yeah.
everybody, all the employees will get a copy of that, and as well as supervisors. Those
Yeah, we had a meeting over a week ago with preparation of what to do moving into this phase. So that's where we're at with it. Lastly, I'd like to say, yes, there were some changes tonight, but I just want to let you all know, council has spoken as a whole and as a group. And it's in that, I've always said, whenever it started before, whenever I first became mayor, this happened with the towing. No matter where you stand at the end, council as a whole speaks, that's the law of the land, you move on. But I will say, in the duties of the mayor, number one is to make sure council is doing their duty in a whole, and that I enforce all ordinances. I will pressure this council, and I will constantly tell you that if there is an ordinance before you, no matter how tough it is, you must address it. and you addressed it tonight. Doesn't matter if I feel or anybody else feels it was right or wrong. You addressed it. We'll move forward from there.
Well, I'd like to take a minute to say that in the PSAB book, it listed the mayor's duties, and I don't think a lot of things that you've been doing are really allowed to be done. So with that being said, I'll give this to Steve, because,
I've read it, Mrs. Price.
okay.
The article
well,
by, I've read it.
Yeah,
It's the article, and I can speak to this. Christopher Gerber is a friend of mine. I tried a case with him last month, and I read his article. And I reached out to him, and I said, Chris, what's the purpose of your article? Because it seems to state two different things. Mayors have the ability to, and council has the ability to. His comment to me was, he wrote it to be provocative. He wrote it to have comment. I will like to say one thing, Mr. President. As long as I sit here, you know, I've been practicing law for 16 years. I provided Terry with my proof of insurance last week. I've been licensed in this Commonwealth. I would encourage council to be judicious when you read opinions in newspapers.
Can I say something? I would like to make a statement because PSAB is what we go by. Do they not do any research on the articles that they print in their
No,
magazine?
this is a trade magazine.
I know it's a trade magazine, but they still, we base all their recommendations in that trade magazine. Their questions and answers
I'm suggesting,
in that trade
Mrs.
magazine.
Ackerman, that we don't do that. Frankly, I'll tell you why. Is because just last week, as was discussed at the beginning of this meeting, we relied upon information that PSAB miscommunicated concerning executive session.
Correct. But it wasn't printed. It wasn't in print. It was a verbal
This is just an
statement.
article. Lawyers write articles every
I
day.
realize that, but doesn't the PSAB do any research on that?
I'm not saying there's no validity to this, but I think an article like this could be weaponized by different factions if they chose to.
I'm sure.
This is not an overview of Pennsylvania law. It's an article.
Okay,
I
well,
confirmed that with Mr. Gerber. I'll show you my email.
May
Okay,
I
well-
also make comment on that, please? I think this was misinterpreted, and I'll tell you why. As I read it, and you correct me if I'm wrong, the mayor went to the police department and made, I think, the amount was 16 suspensions of the police chief. And he was, as the civil service orders are, he was perfectly in his right. However, council got tired of him suspending everybody, so they adopted resolutions stating otherwise. They detailed each and every obligation that the officers were to do, including the chief. The mayor then, in turn, says, to hell with them, I'm not listening to their ordinances, I'm still going to enforce my rules. That's where he became wrong. Once they adopted those ordinances, he became wrong, and I think that's the interpretation that was given there. The mayor has control of the police department, council controls the finances and the hours that they're permitted to work, the total amount of hours that they're permitted to work. The mayor controls the demeanor in which they work and the shifts that they work. That's civil service. That article can't supersede civil service.
No, I know that. Why did the PSAB print an article like that if it wasn't to be at least taken as
It's to start
as a
discussion.
statement?
I think that's what occurred in that particular municipality.
Well, having said that, before we discuss anything about another municipality that someone wrote an article about, is there a particular instance that you think, Ms. Bryce, Councilwoman Bryce, that I've overstepped my boundaries as mayor?
I think you all have, you, Mr. Steve. I
Well,
don't
no,
think-
I'm the only
Listen,
mayor, so I'm
okay,
asking you
well,
if
I'm
there's
just
anything
saying,
I've done as mayor.
I don't know that we were given sound legal advice on the things you were doing. That's what I'm questioning. So how could I question when my solicitor
What-
doesn't give us sound legal advice?
Okay,
Because you
so
were
once again, I asked you openly, 1 second, please,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Solicitor. It was directed that the mayor has overstepped his boundaries. Now, leave the solicitor out of this,
Okay.
because I can always answer, and I'm going to,
Okay.
that I've always included council in every decision since this state of emergency.
You interviewed-
Every decision made was ran through, 1 second, was ran through council, and I reviewed it with council members, whoever was in charge of that committee, if it was police, with Mike McDowell, Ed Parquette, and the council president at the time, along with our solicitor and the superintendent of police. Also, I made sure that whenever I did it, I could get it in writing, so I have everything in writing. So if I've overstepped something, I'd like to know where exactly, and maybe we can remedy it.
Okay, you met and you interviewed a candidate for a job. Just a couple of you. And then you wanted to hire that person. And you were gonna hire him without any approval of council. Council, that happened. That absolutely happened.
Well, let's review that one
Okay.
since you were there. We met, that was the, Mike, Ed couldn't be there, or were you there, Ed?
I don't recall any of that happening this year.
Did you sit on?
He wasn't there.
Yeah, I don't think we could get a hold of you. Because you came
It was
in.
during the day.
It was during the day.
Okay,
Anyways.
applicant for the policeman?
Yeah, yeah.
Ms.
And
Gonzalez there and myself.
Okay,
it
yeah.
was brought up that we had applications, and council said they wanted to, and I said I wanted to sit in. So we did. Whatever they did, the recommendation was, we should move forward with this person. And then it was, the recommendation was we wasn't, and we didn't. So the point that council,
It wasn't brought before council. It was brought to maybe one or two council people, but not
I
the
believe
council.
that it was still in the workings because it was a little bit, he had, on his application, there was some type of, there's something shot out
can't
as
say
a red,
anything, right,
you know,
I
something
well, I'll
shot
put it
out
to you
as a
this
red
way.
flag. So
Once
we
the-
weren't going to bring it to council until he actually cleared, and we were waiting on other applicants, but there was in no way that we were going to hire him without going to council. But we wanted his, what do you call it?
Background check.
Yeah, background check and
I
that,
understand. I
you
know
know what.
exactly what happened.
His reference, not background check, no, we didn't even get that far. References
Right.
that he had on
I
it. Because
understand.
there was a conflict of overlapping references. So
Okay.
we wouldn't, you know, we were going to, and I don't think we had a meeting now, so we were going to bring that to council. Because I think we told the guy, we weren't going to, even if he cleared, we still weren't going to be able to,
That
hire him
wasn't
unless we
my
voted.
understanding. My understanding was that he was going to get sworn in.
no.
And then when you found out, when they did call some of his previous employment,
No,
and then it didn't happen. Okay, I'm just telling you.
I was sitting there,
All right,
and I was reading his application.
okay.
And I looked at the mayor, and I says, something doesn't look too good. I said, I'm seeing overlapping dates.
You also made comment that he's had too many jobs, there's no sense in hiring this guy.
Exactly.
yeah, and at the end of the day, whenever this phone call was made, I called the superintendent and said, what's your last opinion on this? He
Yeah.
said, I don't know until I talk to the guy. So we said, you want to bring him in and see if we want to do this or what? My superintendent called me and said, hey, I want you to listen to this. He told me whatever it was, and it all got stopped.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, as I said, I met with council. If you want me to meet with all of council every time, I meet with your department heads as you instructed me to do. If I was wrong, I really would like to hear that, because if you don't want me to meet with those department heads, I'll wait for a
I
meeting
didn't
every
say
month
that.
and we will slow the boat
I
out.
said there were some things that went on that weren't above board. And don't tell me that wasn't true, because that was true. We're going to hire that person until the phone call went and you found out what it was about, but you intended on hiring him.
I was told to get that person and get them ready to come in.
You
And
were
then
told. You were
whenever
told
I
by
got the
who?
phone
By
call, I
council?
said, no.
No. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, we're not going to get into an argument here, because that wasn't the impression
There
that
was
I
a
got.
lot of stuff that went
Because
on,
once
it shouldn't
I-
have went on.
Once I looked at his application, seen the discrepancies, the overlapping dates, too many jobs, that's a question mark. That's a question mark for me. I want to know what's going on with this individual. So under no circumstances would I have agreed to hire anybody that day.
We didn't agree to
Mike,
hire him.
may I make several corrections on this misleading accusations here? It says here that Mr. Greco, Mayor McDonough, and Mr. Trapani conspired to destroy the police department.
You did.
And Superintendent Bryce.
You did.
Behind closed doors, the input council.
Right.
Never interrupted you, Mrs. Bryce, please. Mr. Greco, Mayor McDonough changed Officer Keith Jones with no input from council. Jimmy Bryce was duly asked if you wanted to do it, fine. If not, that's fine too. In fact, I told him several times, because of the problems that he was having, forget about it, don't do it. He said he would do it. And as far as calling in Mr. Bryce, I didn't call him behind closed doors. I called him with the police committee, Mr. McDowell and Mr. Parquet, for the sole reason because Mr. McDowell, Mr. Lawson, Mr. Parquet, Mrs. Ackerman, the mayor, and Steve Trapani were talking about issues that were erupted in the police department and a possibility of discipline. And based on that executive session we had upstairs, you, Mrs. Price, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times says, give us the money and we'll get the hell out of here.
You're nuts.
That's
You know what?
That's
You're
exactly
nuts.
what you said. Mr. McDowell, is that not what was said?
No, I never said give him the money. No, I didn't.
Mr. McDowell, are you going to sit there?
We're not, I'm not
I
going to.
want to respond to this.
Yes,
The only reason why I called him in was because of that.
That
And
statement
in
might
front
have
of you
been
and in
made.
front of Mr. Parquet,
That
we
statement-
made a very, very lucrative
Executive
offer.
session.
Okay, that statement might have been made in haste. I'm not too sure.
That
It
statement was made in an executive session, and what
You know,
goes, what says,
but,
it's,
you
what
know,
is
we're
said
not
in an
gonna go
executive
through every-
session stays in executive.
Exactly. We're not going to go through every item on here and discuss this tonight. You know, you
They're all
could
lies,
take
is
it,
what
take
I'm
it.
trying to tell you. She's calling
Well-
these lies that aren't lies. I'm
All
telling
right,
you.
if
these
you
are
don't-
lies.
I wasn't given a copy of this, but if you think I conspired to,
That's my opinion, and I'm entitled to.
I understand, but I'd like to tell you straight away.
Okay.
This was an ordinance that came up tonight.
Mhm.
And as you said, if there's no name stamped on it,
Right.
I'd like to know how else I conspired to do anything.
No, I don't.
I
know.
never offered anything to our superintendent. Meanwhile, I have given him time and time again,
Oh.
in writing,
Mr.
exactly what we expect.
Mr. Greco did not make him an offer.
Mr. President?
I don't know, if Mr. Greco did something, that's council.
That was
I
not
didn't-
the council.
Did Mayor McDonough make
You
an
know what?
offer?
We're not going to sit here and argue. We could argue about
We got a second.
everything here all night. I'm not going to do that.
Everything's always a conspiracy, it's not.
A motion was made.
The motion was made.
I
Excuse me,
second.
Can I just make something
Commissioner-
public?
Yes.
I wanted to thank small towns and big parts for the very successful food drive that all the volunteers, and I believe part of Bar Kenny were part of, and the mayor, myself, Chief Rice, his wife, his daughter, Councilman McDowell came and we volunteered, and we provided, I think, 200 or 250 food boxes, plus much others that they offered. And I wanted to thank them very much, and it helped the town, and
Yes,
I
it
really
did.
appreciate it.
In these times, you have a town that's coming together and your council's tearing apart again. There are no conspiracies. Sir, there are no conspiracies.
Okay,
It's
that's-
getting old. It's getting old. You call for conspiracies.
Meeting
we're not over
adjourned.
here.
Let's go. Done.
That's the way I feel. You're entitled to my opinion.
But you're wrong.